Hey y'all, it's the Media Chat Room, and we are here to chat some more about this never-ending story with Will Smith and Jada Pinkett. Now y'all, before we lay it all out on the table, I need y'all to like this video, share it, as well as subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to turn on your notification bells so that you know when we drop our next video. Now on Friday, y'all, we posted a video giving our opinion about what was going on with the Smiths. But since then, I've dove into the headlines and I started to go back and watch some of the Red Table Talk episodes. Now, if y'all go over to Facebook and start watching Becoming Mr. and Mrs. Smith Part 1, you're going to get the breakdown as to how their relationship started. Then part 2 goes into how everything started to break down. So what I did was I took some of the important clips in order to make everybody kind of understand a little bit better as to what was going on. And this is going to be exactly what's going to be in that book. So let's listen to this together. Now, this first clip is going to be a lot of fluff about how they actually met. Then after that, we'll get into how they got together once he got a divorce from his first wife, Cherie, who he did not want to divorce. Now, I'm not going to lie. Some of the information is going to be better understood once you watch a lot of the other episodes of Red Table Talk. But if and when something needs to be explained and it comes from a different episode that they talked about previously or later, then I'll go ahead and let you all know what episode it comes from. So I just wanted to do an update because in all fairness, these people have been honest from the jump. And if you don't know how to break down conversation, then it's going to be hard to pick up what they're putting down. And the reason why it's getting so much attention now is because they're using a lot of the basic key words that we understand in society, like the word separation. Now let's get into it.
Day one. The first time I met you was at the Fresh Prince when I came to audition. Right. I think I was 19.
Yeah.
And they told me I was too short.
Yeah.
But you were there.
Yes. So I remember you were on Different World. So Alfonso knew you. I was like, yo, dude, I saw this girl on Different World last night. I was like, her name is Jada. Dude, he said, oh, yeah, my boy knows her. He can introduce you. So I was like, Alf, hook it up. Fresh Prince taped on Friday nights and Different World taped on
Thursdays, yeah.
Thursday, so it was the night before. So Alf was like, yo, I can set the meeting up. So we went, and it was first season. I was Fresh Prince, So I walked up in the audience, A Different World. I was the Fresh Prince, So it was, I walked in, I sat down in the audience, and the taping started. And then Alf was like, yo, that's my boy that knows her. And he sat down, and I was like, yo, who's that girl he's with? I was like, the dude that was going to introduce me to Jada was with another girl. And I was like, who is that?
Who was that girl?
And it was Cherie.
Wow.
He went to Different
World to meet Jada and met Cherie and ended up marrying Cherie and having Trey with Cherie.
That's just trippy. Wow.
I didn't meet Jada that day. We had a party at our house or something. Me and Cherie had a party at the house or something. We had all of these near misses, and every time we saw each other, it was always a beautiful energy.
Right.
The real time was probably, I think Dwayne and Tisha had a thing at the Baked Potato.
Yep.
And we sat down at the Baked Potato.
And talked.
And we talked. There was a really unique, beautiful power.
Yeah.
We had that moment and we connected, but I was married and it was,
Damn.
And we
That was it.
That was it.
We did not have an affair.
We did not have an affair.
He was married.
Nope,
Let's be
not
clear
at all.
about that.
Not at all. It was just that next night, me and Cherie went to dinner. And I sat down with Cherie, and it was one of the most bizarre emotions I ever had. After we had that talk, I knew that was the woman I was supposed to be with, but I was never getting divorced.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't get divorced.
Right. And then she divorced you.
And then Cherie filed for divorce. She hit me hard. Cherie filed for divorce on Valentine's Day. I was like, ouch, ouch. And I still told her, I said, no.
Yeah.
Wow.
You can't have a divorce. And she hit me with so you're gonna make somebody stay with you who doesn't love you. And I was like, what? I'm actually not. Nope, I'm not. And I was like, that was the one that got me. I remember I was like, I'm gonna sign the divorce papers. I walked out of there and I was in the car and I had Jada's number. I literally walked right out from there. I called Jada. Because you had moved back to Baltimore.
I had bought a house.
You bought a house in Baltimore. She was not going to live in Hollywood. She had left the business and bought a farm in Baltimore.
That's amazing.
I bought a farm.
I said, hey, Jada, what's up? It's Will. She said, hey, how you doing? I said, good. I said, are you seeing anybody?
Oh my God.
And she said, no. I said, cool, you're seeing me now.
And my dumb
And she
ass was
said,
like, okay.
She got on a plane, came back to LA,
And never
never
left.
spent one night in her farm in Baltimore.
No.
Never spent one
Never
night in the house she
completed
bought.
the
That's actually kind of sad. I
Yeah.
always know how much you wanted to have that kind of life.
Yeah.
You know?
It's okay
I know.
because I got you.
I know. But it's just like...
So, y'all, this becomes sacrifice number 1. Against her better judgment and what she had planned for her life, she decided to go against that for the relationship that she wanted to pursue with Will Smith. Now, I don't know if y'all know or realize, but that's a very drastic difference in living in a farmhouse versus a Hollywood lifestyle scene. Okay, so now let's get back to the next clip.
And then we started dating, and then I got pregnant
Yeah.
2 years in. I cried that whole night.
Damn.
She cried all night
I
because
cried
she was pregnant
all night
and
long.
she knew.
I was like,
My life is
my
never
life
going to be
is
the same.
never going to be the same.
Yeah.
Now, here it is, sacrifice number 2. Now, if you're a mom out there, then you probably could relate most of all to this moment. Whenever you're a mom, and especially depending on who you're dating, you know that you have a level of sacrifice that you have to give to be a mom. Now, y'all, she never said this, but I'm sure throughout those 2 years, she was going out on auditions, trying to reestablish herself back on the Hollywood scenes as an actress. But now that she's gotten pregnant, now she has to reevaluate things. Y'all, it's a huge difference when you're giving up something for choice versus when you're forced to give up something. And at this moment, she wasn't a solidified actor, so she knew that there would be some things that had to change within her life and her career now that she's going to be a mom.
I was like, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really didn't want to get married, but
We only got married because Gammy was crying.
it was almost as if Gammy was like, you have to get married. So let's talk about the wedding. I was under
married.
so much pressure, you know, being a young actress, being
Yeah.
young. And I was just like,
pregnant.
And I was just like, I didn't know what to do. But I just knew, I was like, I never wanted to be married.
I don't remember that. I remember feeling very strongly and wanting you guys to be married. I do remember that. But
Yes.
I don't remember your rejection of the idea of marriage. I remember the rejection of the idea of a wedding.
I didn't want a
But
wedding
not
either.
She didn't
want it,
I was
yeah.
like, I don't want to get married. And now Gammy done gone to Will crying about, I don't want to have a wedding. And now I'm being forced to have a wedding. When really, I just wanted it to be the two of us on a
Yeah.
mountain because I was like, this is serious business. And I was so upset that I had to have a wedding. I
Yeah.
was so pissed.
We
I went crying down the freaking aisle.
Oh, getting married.
Getting married. Cried the whole way.
Now, y'all, here goes some more things, doing things outside of what you want for yourself. Not only does she not want to get married, but she doesn't want a wedding. And somehow she's convinced just because she's pregnant that she needs to not only get married, but now have a wedding. And at this point, she's appeasing her mom. But at the same time, when you're giving up yourself and sacrificing, it doesn't matter who you're sacrificing it to. You're just not being true to yourself and your choices and desires for your own life.
That was one question I forgot to ask. She said that she never wanted to get married. Did you?
There wasn't a day in my life that I wanted anything other than being married and having a family. Literally 5 years old, I was picturing what my family would be. What was the fundamental bump about the idea of marriage in general that you were against?
I just never really agreed with the construct.
Exactly.
I just don't agree with it. I never have. I still don't.
Yeah.
Till Death Do Us Part is real for me. It's just all of the rules and
It's
all
like
of the
you're supposed to do
ideas.
this
Right.
as a wife. You're
You
supposed
know,
to do this.
yeah,
As a husband, you're supposed to do this.
Instead of
Right.
And
really
what you
just
can't do.
And what you can't do,
exactly,
right, absolutely.
Because of this title, wife is a
The
very
defi- the-
difficult.
the accepted conventional
conventional definition
of a
of
wife,
wife.
right.
In the paradigm.
In the
Yes.
paradigm, I'm not that.
Right. I don't know if I've ever said this. You know how I'm a scientist, so everything is science for me.
Yes.
I read something when we first got together that the most successful men in history have been married,
Right.
right?
Right.
And for me, I knew that I would squander my life if I was running around.
Yeah.
Okay.
The way my mind works, I can only excel for a woman.
Aww.
Like I can't.
I think a lot of men are like that, though.
Yeah.
I think women are true motivators
Yeah.
for men.
And the one thing that I think has been the greatest motivator and asset for me with you is your absolute refusal to accept anything from me other than the best that I could possibly be.
Right, and vice versa.
You know what I think is really strong? And the thing with the two of us that never got out is the intention. We were always in sync on a couple of really powerful ideas. We were always building a family.
Yep, always.
We were always
that was
building.
Our number one
that was
priority.
our number one priority. We
family.
were family.
That until this day.
Yep.
No matter what, family.
Yes. Yeah.
No matter what. So everything else that might have gone awry or crazy.
We had cross intentions sometimes that made us collide.
Yeah.
Right? That was one of the major difficulties that we had. Because externally, everything was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a couple, we are magical.
Mm-hmm.
We win in the material world.
Yeah.
When we do it together, we win.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The Karate Kid, Whip My Hair, Hawthorne, and the Nobel Peace Prize. Our family did that within a 6-month period, right?
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
I was like, I'm parenting the hell out these kids. Like, we are killing it. She on Hawthorne. The only interview that Barack Obama did when he won the Nobel Peace Prize was me and mommy,
Wow.
right? Externally, our family was winning.
Okay, y'all, so this is the end of 2009. So that means they're about 12 years into their marriage. And now you're going to start to hear about Will's ego and the things that was happening to showcase his life of perfection. And 12 years in, Jada's just like, I'm tired. I sacrificed who I am and what I want for too long.
Right? And there was a period where mommy woke up and cried 45 days straight. I started keeping a diary.
Damn.
You missed some days.
It was every morning. I think that's the worst I've ever felt in our marriage. I was failing miserably. But on the outside, I was winning. Like, built a house and called the house her lake, right? And during that time I remember saying, like, I built this house for you. I called it her lake. And she said, you built this house for you.
Yeah.
And I was like, what you talking about, Jada? But it was devastating for me to accept that I built the house for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I was
Yeah.
saying I was building it for her, but I wasn't.
Yep.
Yeah.
I wanted this house. I
Exactly.
called it her lake as an ego cover,
Yeah.
right? And Jada was calling me on that.
Yep.
Right? What I realized is I was building a picture.
Yep.
Yes.
I grew up in a household where I was scared and watched my father beat my mother up, right? So I was gonna build the complete opposite of that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Wonderland. Everybody's gonna be happy all the time. Come on, Willow, let's play.
Yeah.
Right?
Even though I was saying no all the way.
Yeah.
Will, the house is too big. Will,
too
not
big,
this.
right?
No, Will, and he had a picture.
I had a picture, and I had a public perception
had the public
that I wanted
perception that
to
he
project of
executed.
our relationship, of the family, and what my kids are, and what my wife is, and what we are in the world.
Did you ever feel like Jada was ungrateful?
Hell yeah.
Look at everything that I've done for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was another
You
thing.
ungrateful.
But
Yeah.
that was the other thing, because there were times I felt ungrateful. Because I was like, look at your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
How could you be so unhappy? I used to think I was crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually how I felt when I first got wind of your discontent. It wasn't
Yeah.
that I thought that you were ungrateful. I just didn't understand, like,
What's wrong?
What's wrong?
what could possibly be wrong?
But that's why I couldn't talk to
got
anybody. Right. And that's what everybody thought.
But Jada's an actress, but she had 2 babies, and she had to be home to raise her babies while I got to do everything I wanted to do. She
But-
was sacrificing herself to fit my picture.
Right.
Yeah.
But my life
Didn't
wasn't
really
really
change.
disrupted in the least, right? And I think that was if there were an individual most poisonous aspect of our relationship in the past, is I felt that money and winning made a good relationship.
Yep.
We're succeeding in the world. That means our relationship is good.
And I would say to him, I would go, Will, throw away everything that's happening in the outside world, your career, everything. And it's just me and you on an island.
Damn.
What do we have?
And I was like, we have the island. We own the island.
You know what I mean?
And it was like, I so didn't comprehend that. So me and you on an island, what do we have? Not only did I not understand, I didn't care.
Right.
I was unaware of what it meant to truly connect with somebody.
I'd been trying to live up to an expectation for Will.
Yeah.
You
And
know-
you were trapped in a life that you didn't build,
That I didn't
you
build.
didn't want.
And that I didn't want, but that I had to come to the understanding that I allowed myself to have. You accepted all of that because of your fear.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the truth.
Damn.
Fear of...
Just fear of not wanting to rock the boat. I had kids,
Yeah.
you know, and just wanting to, you know, because he's a force to be reckoned with. There's just a lot of stuff you let slide and go past that angers you, and you
Right.
get resentment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know, but you don't change it because you're scared.
you're scared, yeah.
At the end of the day, it's about fear.
And that was around the time when Willow, I was so mad at you this day. When you put your hand on my face, remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And Willow, me and Jada are going through it. And Willow was like, oh, Daddy, it's so sad. And she's putting her hand on my face. She was like 9. And Jada was in the kitchen. And she's like, Mommy, isn't it sad? And Jada said, what? She said, Daddy has a picture of a family in his mind, and it's not us. I was like,
No, but it was such deep... No. The thing is, it was such deep truth, but I was just seeing the obvious. I was like,
out of the mouth of babes.
Out of the mouth of
Out of the mouth of
babes.
babes.
isn't it sad?
Yeah.
And I think for me, the turning point in our relationship for me happened when I turned 40.
That 40th birthday
Yeah,
was
I just
yeah.
couldn't. I was
You were
just
just
like,
fed up.
I was like, I can't do this like this anymore.
So y'all, Jada turned 40 in 2011. And now they've been married for about 14 years.
What was your hardest time in our marriage?
I think the turning point in our relationship for me happened when I turned 40.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I had a midlife crisis.
Yeah, your 40th birthday was my low point. The day after her 37th birthday, I hired a team to orchestrate her 40th birthday. I had hired a documentary team. I traced Mommy's family roots. Her 40th birthday was gonna be my thing.
It was gonna be a splash.
It was gonna be a splash. Mary J.
definitely was a
Blige.
splash.
Mary J. Blige performed. I debuted the film, all of that. It was gonna be the thing that lifted her out of this midlife crisis, and it was gonna be my deepest, most beautiful proclamation of love, and we did it. And I had found tapes of Jada's grandmother, and her grandmother had recorded these voice messages over the last 8 months of her life.
Wow.
And it was tapes that Jada had never heard.
Wow.
So Jada had to sit there and listen. I understand thoroughly now. At the time I didn't. But she's listening to these never before heard tapes of one of the dearest people she's ever known in her life, in front of all of these people. So she's holding it together, she's getting it together. Then I have Mary J. Blige performing. The whole time I'm like,
Yeah.
the little boy that wants Mommy to say everything was wonderful,
Yeah.
right? And she's having a really difficult emotional time. And then when we got back to the room, it was me, you, and Mommy, and we were talking about the next day, and there were things planned for the next day, and she said, I'm not sure I want to do anything the next day. You can just cancel it. And I said, well, let's keep it, and then tomorrow you can decide. She was like, I'm telling you now, I don't want to do anything tomorrow. And I was like, well, it's okay. We'll just wait and see.
I just wanted to have intimate
Just
time.
intimate time. And I was like, well, I'll cancel tomorrow. She was like, it's my birthday.
Yeah.
Right? And she's told me that the party was the most ridiculous display of my ego.
Ooh.
Crushed, right? And to this day, I know I was crushed because it was true.
Yeah.
It wasn't a party for her.
Yeah.
And when she called me on that, that's when I snapped. And I'm sorry, that was the only time you ever heard me snap. Come here, baby.
Thank God.
And listen, and I snapped in front of Willow. It was the only time in her childhood she ever saw me snap. And I saw her look, and Willow starts crying. And I was like, baby, I'm sorry. She's like, just figure it out. You guys, please just figure it out. Just figure it out. Right? And I was like...
And that was a display, that moment of like me having the courage to just say no.
No, yeah.
But now I had to have the courage to unravel it and just realizing this next 40, I gotta do it my way.
Now y'all start to pay attention. This is where Gammy, who is Jada's mom, start to talk about a transition that Jada and Will went through. Now y'all know culturally, when we talk about a transition, what that means. The only thing we don't have for certain is the timeline. Now the show Red Table Talk was a production show, so there's probably maybe things that they talked about that was taken out. But what we know for sure is when Jada turned 40, which was in 2011, that's when things started to change because she no longer wanted to go along to get along. And in 2016, that's when they decided to move forward with separating, which in my opinion, I think that just means that they both have their own separate houses and then a house together as well.
This next half has to be directed by my picture for myself.
I have to say that when you guys were going through that transition, I was like, what the hell?
Right.
Because everything was just...
Changing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I didn't know there was a need for change.
There was so much that wasn't me that I was living.
Yeah.
So much inauthenticity. I do think that there are a lot more people living lives that aren't true.
Aren't true. That is
to
so
them
painful.
because of their fear. So I understand, and there's no judgment. I did it.
Right. And
You
was
know.
some of that what you felt like you had to present yourself to the public?
I was much more conscious of public perception than Jada.
Yeah.
Right? There was an idea
I think I
of-
was trying to live up to an idea for him.
So y'all see, it was really Will who had this picture image as to what he wanted his family to look like and be perceived as to the public. He only cared about the materialistic things of the world. And she wanted a more heartfelt life. And just lost herself because she was trying to appease him.
That was a difficult one for me. When you stopped clapping when I did things in the exterior world that were great. Willow really broke it for me with Whip My Hair. In the middle of all the Whip My Hair stuff, she was on tour and it was a great show and everything was amazing. It was we were at the top of the world. Whip My Hair, it's played Jay-Z's side, it's beautiful. And she was like, okay, I'm done, Daddy. I was like, sweetie, you can't be done. You know, you made a commitment. She was like, but I'm finished. I was like, I know, sweetie, but you can't be finished. You made a commitment to Mr. Jay-Z. He said, no, Daddy, you made a commitment to Mr. Jay-Z.
Wait, did I really say that?
Yes. You were like, Daddy, it doesn't matter that I'm done?
Ooh.
Yes, sweetie, it matters a lot. It does, but you can't be done. She came down the next day and had shaved her head bald. I was like, does she know what she's doing? Like, that was a deep protest.
Yep.
What it did for me is I had a crazy realization in that moment. I was building what I wanted for her. And she tried all of the different ways to say, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I was like, I get it. And I saw for the first time what Jada had been saying the whole time about hiding behind my ego and my dreams and my desires and pretending like it's love. And I realized she didn't want none of the stuff I had built. The house was too big. It was always too many people here. She didn't want to have to travel the way we traveled. She didn't want all of her kids to be getting trolled on Twitter. Like, she didn't want any of that.
And that's why I stopped clapping. And it was a decline from there.
Yeah, to have to let go of the picture.
Yeah.
To have to let go of the dream was devastating. We essentially had to destroy our marriage. Destroy our marriage.
Oh, yeah.
She was like, I can't do this anymore. And to me, it was over. But divorce was never even an option.
Stop it. I was like, wait a minute, hold it. No.
Like when I was reading in the tabloids that we were getting divorced and all of that stuff. And it was like, it was never even
I've never even seen a divorce lawyer. It was like, that was never.
It was never even a consideration.
My mind. Like,
But was it for you?
Because I had been divorced before, I wasn't getting divorced again.
right.
Okay.
Like,
So it wasn't.
Like, divorce wasn't an option. There was a time when I was scared that she might.
Well, I'm going to tell you like this. I put in too much,
Yeah.
period. What is most important to me is my family.
You would think about the kids.
I was thinking about our family, not even just our immediate nucleus, but we have such a huge extended family.
Exactly.
And I knew that divorce wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
Why do that? Why create all that disruption? But I told Will from the gate, I said, let me tell you something. If you marry me, know this. We're going to be together. We're going to be under the same roof. You might be on one end of that joker with somebody else. And I might be on one of this joker with somebody else.
Yeah.
And I always said, that's ridiculous.
But we're going to be in this joker together.
Now, here's one of the moments where people say Jada lied. And when listening to the entire thing and other red table talks, I believe that she means we're never going to get a divorce. So if there's a period in time where you have to be with somebody else to be happy, we all come into this home because this is our family hub and everybody going to be together as one happy family. But y'all have to remember, this is an unorthodox family. So they do not go by the rules of society and how everybody say things have to be and the expectations that others put on your life. So even in the statement of being separated, there is a sense of independent living within their marriage. So the normal married couple, they have to live underneath the same roof and conform to the way that one person wants to be and live because you have to be together all the time. They are living as independent individuals with a sense of togetherness because they are family and because they have a family together.
I don't want to leave this table making people feel like divorce is wrong. Sometimes that is what you need for whatever you need to discover about your situation and yourself.
Absolutely.
Right? But for me personally, I knew that there was no reason that he and I would ever, we just needed to get to agreement between he and I.
Yeah. I was devastated, even worse than a divorce. We broke up. We broke up. We broke up within our marriage and got back together again.
Right.
Yeah.
I had to rebuild.
I had to
something
rebuild with new rules and
Something way different.
something way completely different.
And here is why they say that they separated, because they are no longer considering themselves married and they rebuild to something that defines and fits for their lifestyle and their family, which allows them to break all the traditional rules and thoughts around marriage. And remember, this was released October 2018. Now, in one of the later episodes, she states when their family met August Alsina, which was 2016. So at this point, her and August Alsina already had their entanglement. After looking at this episode along with the episode where Jada brings herself to the red table, I believe August was hurt because at this point, they're still redefining and working out what their situation is. And some of the dynamics may have changed from when her and August first had their entanglement. Therefore, she is seeming to be like a liar. But with this type of lifestyle and openness of a relationship, it's a continual journey. Wherever you are in that moment of life is what you're basing your life and your romanticism and your partnership around. And that could be 1 year, 1 month, 2 days, 5 years. Because it's a continual journey and it involves growth, you're going to have many dynamics and many facets to where you are in life. And that may also include the people you decide to be with in that moment. And actually, in my opinion, that situation with August Alsina probably helped them more than it hurt them. Because it probably helped them redefine some more things as to who you're getting involved with and how it's going to be handled. And that's probably why they still go on the red carpet together, because there's so many different phases to their relationship as well as their relationship being a business.
The thing about it is that you really have to go your separate ways to figure out your stuff.
Yep.
You got to be strong enough and understand clearly what it is you're in search for, you know, what it is you want, what it is you don't want. Because that whole time when you're in a union, you're pointing fingers because you're thinking it's your partner.
Yeah.
Because you guys are so
it's
close.
her fault. This house is great.
Right, exactly.
This
And I'm
house is
it's
great.
his
This
fault.
family is
He put
great.
me in a golden cage. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
right.
And so you have to get
And
away.
you're like, I built this for her and she don't even
She
appreciate
don't even
it.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
A golden cage? This is a
Right.
beautiful cage.
But you have to go your separate ways and get out of each other's way
Yeah.
to really see yourself. So I had to go away, gain my strength as Jada again.
Yeah.
Not mommy, not wife,
Right.
Jada, Corinne.
Yes.
Right.
Now that's the big one.
That's the big one.
People say it all the time. I have to find myself. Yo, that's real.
That's real
Yeah.
talk.
That's real talk, right? I took off for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I worked on myself. I've read 50 books
Yeah.
on marriage and relationships and behavioral psychology. I was not going to fail in this marriage, right? But I shut down for 2 entire years to see what was I doing wrong.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of beating up on each other because really what you're breaking down is all the fantasies.
Yeah,
Right.
You're burning away all of your fantasies.
Yeah, because that fantasy starts so young.
Yes.
Yes.
And you hold on to that for dear life because that's all you know.
Right. Ultimately, to have a successful relationship, you have to be in a relationship with a human being.
Yeah.
Right.
An
You know?
imperfect, flawed human being. Because what happened was our characters were trying to have a relationship. And if you're gonna wear a mask, then the person's trying to love your mask, right? They're trying to love the image that you're presenting, but that's not what you really need.
Right.
What you really come to understand that there's no right or wrong.
Yeah.
Everybody's operating from a place of hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Everybody's
saying?
broken.
Everybody's broken. And what I realized, the idea that my brokenness created all of my discomfort.
Absolutely. Mine too. The fact that I was broken and I learned how to look fixed to the world.
Right.
Right.
Will Smith is a character.
Yeah.
Right? But deep down inside, I was an insecure little boy that wanted Jada to say I was great.
Oh.
Right? And if she didn't say I was great, the dragon came out.
Yeah.
I had to learn to be a lot of things for myself.
Yep.
Because I used to think, well, if you don't need somebody, then you can't love them.
Right, exactly.
And if you're not
Yep.
needed, then you're not loved. That was a false belief I had. I can't expect someone to love me more than me. You know, if you don't like being with you, what the hell makes you think somebody else wants to be with you?
Yes,
If
exactly.
you don't love yourself,
Right. That's real
we
talk.
expect people to love us more than we love ourselves. We
Yeah.
expect other people to do the work for us.
Yeah. Right.
I
Somebody-
definitely went through that with Will.
Yeah.
I thought it was his job to make me feel a certain way.
Absolutely.
I had to break that fantasy.
Yeah.
I actually retired. I said, Jada, you know what? I retired. I am no longer doing the job of trying to make you happy. You know what? You are free to go make yourself happy, and you do anything.
Yep.
Anything you want to make yourself happy, and you bring your ass back here happy just to show me that it's even possible.
Yep.
Fly, Pelican.
Now, y'all, let's just break this previous clip that we just heard down. Now, y'all, if y'all watch the Red Table Talk where Jada brings herself to the Red Table, whenever this moment occurred, this is what I believe Will was talking about at the Red Table when he was like, I'm done with your ex. And they both were emphatic that basically at that moment, the relationship was over.
If there were a thing that was the most detrimental to our relationship during that time was my unconsciousness. The other side of that is the key to a relationship is understanding your partner's plight,
Right.
right? There's nothing greater for a human being than to feel understood.
Yeah.
In 2012, I had built everything I had ever dreamed about. As a little boy, I saw this family, I saw this life, I've been building this.
And I was like, no. What's important is how we're connecting internally, like how we're relating heart to heart.
Right.
We're the complete opposite.
Yeah.
These are the things that we had to break,
Yes.
come to new understanding, and recreate.
Yeah.
Will and I have decided to even throw away the concept of marriage.
We don't even call ourselves married anymore. We don't even call ourselves married anymore. We don't even call ourselves married anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it's a life partnership in the sense that we've created a foundation together that we know is for this lifetime.
For this lifetime, we have devoted ourselves to each other.
In a spiritual sense.
In a spiritual sense.
Spiritual, emotional. It's like whatever she needs, she can count on me for the rest of her life.
And vice versa. To me, it gives us the freedom to create a different context, first of all, for ourselves, and not have to live up to the expectation of what people consider marriage to be.
There's nothing that could happen that we won't be together and love each other.
And love each other through, you know.
Love each other through what? And it's not because we just saying it. It's because we've cracked each other's heads wide open. Right?
Yeah.
And we woke up the next day and high-fived and kept going. Right? And I think that's the part that we set each other free. We set each other free. We set each other free, right? And people really struggle with that. The things that Jada needs to be happy, I'm not going to agree with them all, right? I truly have learned the definition of unconditional love.
And to me, that's what it's about.
I love you. I support you. I'm going to help you be happy no matter what. I don't have to like it. I describe it as the day the deal breakers are gone. We don't have any deal breakers.
I always knew I'm not marriage material. I always knew I'm not marriage material. I always knew I'm not marriage material. What I am is a ride-or-die chick.
What you are is the best friend that I've ever had.
Yay.
You're the best partner I've ever had.
And sometimes that gets lost.
Absolutely.
In marriage.
And I think for many years, you and I, oh man, I know we really kind of
tried to fit into the mold.
We tried
really hard.
We tried really hard. What we have between us is family and friendship. You know, it's a life partnership. We are in a union no matter what. We talk about
We talk about anything
and
everything. Rough, rugged, and raw.
Rough, rugged, and raw. And
we could break a red table with some of the stuff we talk about. Put a crack in a red table.
Real talk. But to me, that's what being in a relationship, that's what I need. And I'm not saying that's for every woman. That's what Jada needs. You know what I'm saying?
That's what Will needs. When you go to sleep at night, knowing you have an unbreakable love, an unbreakable friendship, an unbreakable connection, that's how you want to go to sleep every night.
And that you're loved for the truth who you are, not who you think you should be for somebody. And that has been the ultimate release and freedom.
We did a thing probably about 4 years ago. It was like, okay, here's the deal. We're only going to do the things together we love. What happened is we gave each other 10 days out of the year that we would do what the other person wanted. Vacation in the summer, she'll come with me because I want to wild out, I want to climb a volcano, and that's not vacation for her, right? So, but she'll go with me for those 10 days, and then I'll come for Christmas and sit around and do the same old stuff we did last year with the same sweater we had on, with the same songs. Right? She wants to go on vacation and she wants nostalgia to do the same things over and over again. And when I go...
It's called
tradition. No, I get it. And I'm there for 10 days, right? But I want to go on an adventure.
Right.
I don't ever want to go to the same place a second time.
Right.
And we really gave each other the freedom to do the
both.
things that
We love to do. It took a lot of stepping of Will and I together, apart, together, a lot of understanding, a lot of communication, but it took years.
Yeah.
It took years. And I would say we are just now getting to a place.
probably, I would say the last year.
Yeah.
Probably.
I've seen a lot of
Last year.
change in both of you in the last year.
The
Yeah.
last
definitely.
year has been amazing.
I've never been happier in my life.
Me either. And who knows if it might change and transition again.
Yeah. You know why I never got divorced?
It's cheaper to keep me.
No. Because I've never met anybody like you, and I knew if I wasn't with you, I'd be searching in vain for the rest of my life.
Okay, y'all, I know it was a long one, but I think it was well worth the time. And now, Chatty Patties, y'all know what time it is. It is time to get in the comments. Let me know what you thought about this breakdown. Let's just give you a little bit more insight on what Jada meant throughout the interviews of her being separated from her husband, Will. And when it's all said and done, do you think that it's humiliating him and damaging his brand and career? Y'all know I'm going to be in the comments to see what y'all think. And if you're a shy Chatty Patty, I understand. Just leave me a 100 emoji to let me know that you lasted all the way to the end of this video. Now, y'all, that is it. I really enjoyed putting this content together for y'all. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel and share this video. Also, don't forget to hit a like for your girl. And make sure that you turn on your notification bell so that you know when we drop our next video. Now, there's so much more that's unraveling in the headlines, and I will be there to capture it for you guys. So until the next video, bye-bye.